And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, today we're taking a look at a board game called Kumo. A long time ago, the gods decided to pass Earth down to mankind, blah, 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 blah. This is a game about sumo wrestlers in an arena. Yeah, okay, whatever. Theme, meaningless. This is an abstract strategy game in which you are using some sumo wrestlers to move a stone onto your opponent's line by twisting the board, by using special abilities, and by moving blocks around. Let me show you. In this game, players are trying to take the Stone of Balance, and they're trying to get it off the board, and they're going to be doing that using their sumo guys. And so you have 6 of these guys, and on your turn you have 5 actions. You might have more or less, actually, depending on something, but I'll explain in a second. One of your actions can be taking somebody and putting them on the board. Now, when you put someone on the board, this is the special action that they have. So another action can be using their special action. Another action could be moving someone to an adjacent space, not diagonally, but orthogonally adjacent. So that's another action you can take. Another action can be flipping somebody. Another action can be rotating the board 90 degrees. In fact, of your 5 actions, this must be one of them. You must rotate it at least once during your 5 actions. By the way, you can keep track of your actions on your board with this little stone here. You also must, like I said, one of your actions would be putting someone out. You must do that if you have 3 or more people on your board here. You must put one out. So what do the different actions mean? Well, these actions are going to be the different things that you do. For example, this guy here, that's Speedy Gonzalez. This guy can move twice. So when you use his action, so for one action he can go here, or he can go here, or he can go like that in any direction that he wants to. This guy here, and again, these are all the different things. This guy here can throw somebody. So if he's next to this orange person here, he for an action can throw them here, here, or here. If he was here and this character's here, he could throw them off the board, in which case you capture him and put him in jail. Now for one action you can retrieve someone from jail. However, while this guy's in jail, I now have an extra action and they have one less action. I've stolen one of their actions. Of course, they're probably on their next turn going to take that action back. But for a brief moment, I have extra action, and if you capture more people, you will have extra actions. Huzzah! You also have this one here. This is like stomping. If you're next to someone, you can just go on top of them. Now, you can't do that if they're next to the Stone of Balance in any of the 8 spaces next to it. But otherwise, you're here, and it takes them an action to kind of push you off of that. Then we have Mr. Jumpy Pants here. He can jump over anything in a straight line. So if he's here, he can jump all the way over to here. Yay, Mr. Jumpy Pants. And let's see, we have the throw. We also have the push. And then we have this guy here. This is the one who pushes the Stone of Balance. The thing is, you'll notice that has 2 times because you need 2 guys to push the Stone of Balance. So when this happens, they can both push the Stone of Balance. Or they could even push it to the side like that and move after it. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to push the Stone of Balance off the board into your opponent's camp. So it has to be off the other side. However, you can get it really close to your side. Use 2 actions over here and then knock it into their side. And that's how you win. Now, if you have multiple sets of this, you can play with more players. You'll notice there's 4 sides to a board. You're going to play with teams and you're going to work together. I also wanted to show you here briefly the box itself, just because I think the box is pretty cool. The box has a magnetic clasp on it. You open it up, and inside is a nice plastic insert to put everything. And then even the rules themselves slide into here. So it's a pretty nice package. And then even this has a sleeve that goes around it. So that is Kumo. Now, I'm not opposed to the theme. The strong Japanese flavor comes through pretty, this whole mystical earth and sky stuff. It's a bunch of guys pushing a stone around in an arena. which is a whole lot less dramatic when you say it that way, but that's really the way it is. But I do like, I like that the stone of balance actually looks like one of those Tojo seal pieces, and it's pretty hefty here. The cubes, I mean, they look like dice, but they're cubes. These are very nice. Sometimes you have to kind of look at it twice. There's two that look like you can push. There's one where you can push other people, so you push them off, and then there's one that you push to block. And it's not that difficult, but I almost wish that they had colored them each a little different color. So like, oh, the yellow guy, he's the moving guy. Just to make it for ease of differentiation. But again, everything has a very classy look. The board is beautiful. The whole thing's just a gorgeous production. And it's really nice. And so kudos for that. The gameplay itself is interesting. You have a certain number of actions. There is no luck in this game, really. So you're just trying to outmaneuver the other person. I don't know if I'm keen on the fact that you must rotate the board 90 degrees as one of your 5 actions. I guess I understand why they did it. They want the board to be rotating, to be like, oh, everyone's moving around and stuff. But the rotating the board thing's cool. I just wish you could just do it when you needed to rotate it. Being forced to rotate it as one of your 5 actions seemed like a bit of a ham-fisted rule that was in there. And then needing 2 people to move the stone of balance. I should mention, moving the stone of balance is hard because you have to set the 2 guys up, get them both on the right side, and then not have them messed with by your opponent. So you're constantly going in and throwing people and pushing people, trying to get your 2 guys up, or you're like, hey, why don't you push the stone of balance to my side? Flip, 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 flip. We're moving the board, and now I'll push it off. So there's some back and forth. Now, I don't know how many times I would want to play this. I enjoyed it. But when I was done, I was like, cool. If you asked me to play it now, I'd say, yeah, let's play it. And then when we'd be done, I would be like, cool. It's not like I think that I would want to be like, ooh, well, next time I'm going to do this. No, it's kind of like, it feels chaotic. I know it's not because, again, there's no luck. So you can put your pieces out and you're kind of responding. And it really can get thinky. You're like, okay, I'll move this guy here, do this. And, even if that pushing people off the board and capturing them sounds cooler than it is, but it happens. And then you're like, okay, I got to get this guy back. And then I got to put them back on the board. And when I put someone on the board, I'm going to do those move people first because they run fast. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn one guy into a throwing guy to get those people out of there. Or I'm going to run fast next to you, then change the throwing guy, then throw you, then run again. So there's some interesting combos here that you can pull off. And the fact that they do give you 5 is fun, except one of the 5 has to be rotating the board. So it's like you have 4 actions. But interesting. This game is interesting. I don't know how many people it's going to keep. I know it's going to attract folks because you're going to go up to and go, oh, yeah, let's check it out. And you play and you're like, oh, that's very interesting. It's an abstract strategy game, no luck, trying to outmaneuver the other person. But I don't know how many people are going to be like, ooh, remember those great games of Kumo that we played? I think this is a solid, decent, abstract game that's gorgeous. Maybe that interests you. If so, check out Kumo. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.